Hey guys, it's Nikki here with Stillwater's Wreath Designs. I'm going to make a super cute Dollar Tree Easter swag, and I thought I'd bring you along to join me. Hello, hello. So let me tell you what we're going to be using today. I've got two Dollar Tree white Christmas trees. These, of course, came out at Christmas. I have noticed they're now carrying these more and more. For instance, right now, I think they have pink and red for Valentine's Day. So if you aren't able to snag a couple of these from the Dollar Tree, you can also order one online from any Wreath craft supply website. We're also going to use two different colors of 10-inch Deco Mesh. These both came from Craft Outlet. We've got this super cute Dollar Tree Easter sign. This is actually from last year, so I don't know if they still have this in stock or not. And I've already, ahead of time, married together two white pipe cleaners, and I've stapled them right onto the rabbit sign. We're going to use a bow that I made ahead of time, and there's actually a quick video on how to make this bow, excuse me, elsewhere on my channel. So if you need help with making your bow, feel free to hop over to that quick video so that you can make something similar for your swag. I've got a handful of pink and white florals that we'll be adding into the swag. We'll probably throw in some wreath ribbon tails as well. I've got a few 6-inch clear pipe cleaners, zip ties, and of course I've got my glue gun heating up, and a pair of scissors and some wire snips. So the first thing we're going to do, friends, is just open up these Dollar Tree Christmas trees. If you've not worked with them before, they're pretty thin and spindly. Not a lot of material to them. It's going to come with the Christmas tree that's attached to this metal spine. It's going to have a few legs with it. You can actually just throw those away. It's also going to have this red plastic piece on the end. This is actually what's meant for those legs, and you should be able to just unscrew that. Take that right off of there and throw it away. So that just leaves you with the Dollar Tree white pine Christmas tree. You could use pink as well. It's going to open up my second Christmas tree. Go ahead and pitch those legs as well. Unscrew that plastic piece. You have to excuse my dog. He's hollering in the background because he really thinks he needs to be down here with us. Okay, so we've got our two trees out of the box. We've pitched the legs and taken off the plastic end piece. And now we're just going to marry these together. And so to do so, I lay them side by side so that their spines are abutting. And then you're going to take your zip ties and just cinch those guys up so that they're married together. Oops. It's been that kind of day for me, friends. All right, get that nice and tight. And then add your second zip tie. Get that nice and tight as well. And then go ahead and take your wire snips and just trim off the excess bit of your zip ties. Throw those away. And then with your glue gun, just run a couple of lines of glue right over that metal spine to the tree and your zip ties, just to kind of give them that extra strength and stability. All right, now be careful not to touch that. Of course, it's going to be hot for a few minutes. And just like you would a normal swag base, go ahead and start fluffing out your pines here. And we're going to kind of marry them together in just a minute. But for now, just start fluffing and pulling those pines out. You don't really need to get it too full in the center. Just get them separated out. So keep fluffing, friends, and then we'll just meet right back here. What I'm doing here, friends, I'm actually going to take this long piece that's actually meant to be the tip of the tree, and I'm going to fold it over on itself and then wrap it around 2 or 3 times so it's nice and tight. And then whoever purchases this will have the perfect loop to hang this from. All right, back to fluffing. All right, guys, so now you should have this fluffed out. There's not a lot of fluffing to it. As you can see, it's pretty thin and spindly. We're going to fix that in just a short bit. But once you have that fairly fluffed out and how you want it, just set that to the side because we're going to cut some 10-inch Deco Mesh curls. I'm going to be using white. It's kind of an iridescent white. I don't know if you can see that on camera. So it's essentially white, but as you move it, it's got a pink opalescent shimmer to it, which I think will go super cute with this pink metallic Deco Mesh and the sign. I'm not sure how many pieces we're going to need, so I'm going to cut probably 8 of each, and we'll start there. I'm not going to measure those out, friends. I'm just going to kind of eyeball them, and I'm going to assume that they are about, probably 18 inches. Yep, they're about 18 inches, so we'll just get those cut. We'll start out with a handful of each, and then if we need more, we can cut more. So hang tight with me while I cut, and I'll meet you right back here. All right, friends, we've got 7 or 8 of each color cut at approximately 18 inches in length. So I'm going to bring our Dollar Tree Christmas tree swag back in here, and we're just going to start adding cruffles into this entire swag. So if you're not familiar with what a cruffle is, it's basically the marrying of a curl and a ruffle. It's also known as a woodland cruffle. So your Deco Mesh, let me scoot that guy back out of the way for just a minute. When you look at your pieces of mesh, they like to naturally curl in on themselves. And so that's just what we're going to do, friends, on each end. Excuse me. We're going to let that curl in, one full curl, and kind of tuck the ends under. And the reason for that is that will prevent fraying. Deco Mesh likes to fray. And so if you can tuck those edges in a curl or two, that will prevent the fraying. Once you've done that, then in the middle, just kind of scrunch and gather until your hands meet. And you've got the cruffle, which is a combination of the curl and the ruffle. So you get the best of both. And we're just going to start. This is actually the top. Let me just flip it around, friends. We're going to start at the top. I'm not sure if you can see if that's in camera's view here. It's sticking to my sweater. Start at the top. Find 2 pine ties that are close together. Stuff your cruffle down into the base. And then using the pine ties, just give it 2 or 3 super tight twists, and that's going to hold your piece in. I'm going to alternate back and forth between the 2 colors. So again, for your cruffle, you're just going to make a roll or 2 on the ends. Pinch and gather, pinch and gather, pinch and gather. Keep a hold of that. Work your way down the line to 2 more close together pine ties. A couple of twists to get that guy good and secure. Give it a little fluff and move on down to the next color. We're going to keep working our way all the way down to the very end, and I'll meet you back when we get there. So now we're at the end, friends. We've started at the top, alternating colors all the way down the side. We're at the end. So at the end, we're just going to do that same thing. Add that guy in there. Flip it around and do the same thing down the other side. So keep stuffing your swag with Cruffles, friends, and I'll meet you back here. All right, guys, we've got this totally stuffed full. So if you're just hopping on, we took 2 Dollar Tree Christmas trees, tabletop Christmas trees, married them together with a couple of zip ties, fluffed out the branches, and we ended up using 16 curls, and we used 10-inch Deco Mesh. We've got this iridescent white and pink. Each of those curls was about, or cruffles, excuse me, was about 18 inches in length. We created this loop with one of the longer ties so that our customer could easily hang it. And now we've got a nice and full, swag. So we're going to go ahead and put the bow in and then add our sign. And then we'll talk about next steps. So make sure you're mindful of the top of your swag. And I'm going to go ahead and add this pre-measured bow. It's got a couple of real thin bits of floral wire. And we're just going to work our way through some of this mesh. I'm going to pull this off camera for just a minute, friends, but we're just basically going to pull this in and around that spine and tighten it up nice and tight. I'm going to give that floral wire probably about 10 pretty good twists, just because this is that thinner Dollar Tree floral wire. I'm going to snip off the excess, throw that excess bit away, and then with my needle nose pliers I'm going to take that leftover tail and just kind of curl it in on itself so it's not pokey. And then we'll take a little bit of glue from our glue gun and put a pretty good amount of glue right there. It's about a dime size bit. We're going to let that dry for just a minute. All right. Should be good. Not to poke through. So you can see I actually placed the bow kind of on its side. It's on that top if you're facing it left. And I'm not going to fluff it just yet. I want to get my sign added too. And then we'll fluff that ribbon out. So I'm just going to cut this tag off. And again, friends, if you're just hopping on, this is an Easter sign from Dollar Tree. It's actually from last year's creations. So I'm not sure if they have this in stock or not. And what I did ahead of time was just twist together 2 white pipe cleaners. I married them together for length, and then I stapled them right onto the sign. I'm actually going to cut this hanging bit of rope off. We don't need that. So we'll cut that off and get it discarded. And just like we did with the bow, friends, we're going to figure out where we want to place this guy. And once we know where that is, we're going to poke these 2 pipe cleaners through the swag that we've made and wrap it around. I think I'm going to place it about right there. And we're going to wrap these 2 pipe cleaners or Chanel stems, whatever you like to call them, around the spine of the swag. I'm going to kind of weave it through there so that's really close to that spine, guys. And then give it several twists, but I'm just going to do 3 for now. I want to make sure he's still where I want him to be. He is, so I'm making sure he's sitting where I want him to be on the swag, and that also he's in the center, not hanging off one side or the other. He is still where I want him to be, so we'll flip it back over. Give it a few more twists. I'm actually going to take those ends, go back underneath those spines, pull it back up, do it again. Well, not quite enough, so we'll just go ahead and tie it off there. 4 or 5 good twists. Then we'll snip off the end of those pipe cleaners that we don't need and throw them away. We'll just kind of fold that down in. And just like we did with the ribbon, folks, we'll take our glue gun, run a line of glue or a bead of glue right along that spine, right over top of those Chanel stems or pipe cleaners. It doesn't need to be fully dry before you flip it. You just don't want it to stick to your mat. All right, so we're going to flip it back over. Now we can fluff out that bow. It doesn't need a lot of fluffing because we did a good majority of that when we made the bow. You can find that tutorial in a separate video on my channel. Folks, if you like to make wreaths, if you're a crafter, if you're a door decorator, if you're a Dollar Tree decorator, please subscribe to my channel. There's always something fun happening. All right, now that we've somewhat fluffed out our bow, I'm going to go ahead and dovetail the ends And dovetailing, you're just going to fold your ribbon in half. And remember, folks, to cut on the fold, not the open end. And you're going to cut at a V, so about a 1/2 inch down, up to the corner, and snip. And that's going to give you that pretty V on your ribbon. I always like to trim it a little long because you can always take more off, but you sure can't put it back on. So I'm just going to go through here and do some dovetailing. Come back in and fix it once we're done. That's already going to be too long. Got carried away with my bow length. All right, that's still seeming a little long, but we're going to go ahead and leave it. And I like for my ribbons to be at different lengths. That's just a personal preference. You can make them all the same length. You can do various different lengths. Totally up to you. I think that guy's still too long. Boy, this pink and white and red ribbon is super stiff. Very nice quality. So I'm just going to work my way through the ribbon and continue to dovetail and fluff it up a little bit, and then we'll meet back here for the next step. Looking super cute, guys. I still want to be able to see those bunny ears. I'm going to tuck those back a little bit. We may change that, but for now, that's where they're going to go. Looking very cute. So we've got the super cute bow, and we've attached him to the spine. Our sign is attached. We've run some beads of glue to really keep those firm. And our last step is going to be to add some florals. So originally I had brought out a couple of different white options. These are both from the Dollar Tree. And then some leftover pink and tangerine. I think that they're little rose buds, probably left over from Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure yet where I'm going to place them, so I'm going to just start tucking in and gluing as I would like. Now, let me tell you something about most artificial flowers. Typically, the greenery bits can slide up and down. So if you take a look at this and you think that's super cute, but I wish it was fuller, you can just push those green bits up, and then you'll have a much fuller piece. The same would happen if we had extra flowers down here. You would then just trim off the excess bit of stem that you don't need. Make sure you leave a little bit so that you can run your bead of glue on there and stick it in. And so that's what we're going to do, friends. We're going to start placing our flowers. So stick around and we'll do that together. friends, it is finished. I would sometimes put some extra ribbon tails in this corner, but I really think with the giant bow up in the corner, our cute Easter bunny, and some florals, I think that's just a really good flow and vibe. This actually ended up, let's see how long it ended up being, friends. Looks like it's about 24 inches by 13 inches at its longest and widest. So a pretty full Easter swag. I'm very pleased with it. Nearly everything came from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to go ahead and post some pictures so you can see that in its entirety. I'll also include a materials list for you down in the description so that you can make this yourself if you'd like. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more tutorials.